Welcome to the 4-reaction copper cycle lab. This lab serves as a demonstration of the law of conservation of mass, and we'll be using copper. 4 reactions will be performed to convert copper into different forms, until it ends up in its original state. First off, mass around 0.25 to 0.3 grams of copper. For the purposes of this experiment, varieties of copper were used, such as powder, foil, and wire. The first step was to dissolve elemental copper in nitric acid. As a side note, it is important to conduct parts of this experiment underneath a fume hood, because sometimes the fumes produced during a reaction can cause permanent harm to your lungs. The next step was neutralizing the acidic solution, and this was done using sodium hydroxide. After this, the solution was filtered into a flask, and the remaining sediments were rinsed off into the filter using distilled water. The filtrate, or the liquid inside of the flask, was filtered again, and this time the extra sediment was rinsed off using hydrochloric acid. The last step was the extraction of copper from the filtrate. To start off, a beaker of water was put to boil. While waiting for the water to boil, the copper was prepared for extraction. 0.5 grams of magnesium was added to each flask and left to settle for 5 to 10 minutes. This process resulted in a reaction which left copper at the bottom of the filtrate and the filtrate being clear. Any remaining magnesium was dissolved by hydrochloric acid because it would also not react with the copper.